And now this, the LGBTQ reforms in Israel continue to gain momentum. The state will fund transgender voice change procedures after a series of discussions. The Health Basket Committee, which is in charge of authorizing which drugs, treatments, and technologies will receive public funding, decided to fund voice matching for transgender people starting 2022. The decision to allocate nearly $600,000 for this cause did not go smoothly, with much internal debate. Now it will submit its recommendations to the Minister of Health, Nitzan Horowitz, who has been pushing for several LGBTQ reforms in legislation. And to take a deeper look, we're now joined by Professor Halevy, president of the Shaare Zedek Medical Center, and Elisha, co-CEO of Ma'avarim, Israeli trans community. Thank you both very much for speaking to us today. So, Elisha, I would like to start with you with a simple question. How did you feel when hearing those groundbreaking news?
Extremely happy. Gender reassignment care, including voice therapy, is proven to lower rates of depression, anxiety, and even suicide for trans people. So this is very important for us. But not only that, it also allows trans people to better integrate into society and encounter less discrimination and violence.
And Professor Halevy, if you could please elaborate on the procedure itself a bit. What does it entail?
Well, I'm telling you that I'm a little bit surprised. We summarized yesterday 18 meetings with hundreds of hours of sitting and discussing 500 procedures, technologies, medication, diagnostic and therapeutic devices, and submitted it to the government. But the whole media is concentrated on one item, which I understand is very important for the transgender community, and the committee recognized that. But none of the committee members is really in deep understanding of the procedure itself. We only knew that we are talking about, unfortunately, a stigmatized segment of the population, and we wanted to contribute to the destigmatization. And that's why unanimously we decided to give speech therapy to transgenders in order to minimize stigmatization that they suffer from anywhere. Maybe Elisha could answer you in more detail. What does this speech therapy include?
Yeah, but I would like to start to continue with you for a second, Professor Halevy. This procedure was authorized under the category of life-saving measures. Can you explain the rationale behind categorizing it as such?
Nobody categorized it as life-saving measure. Well, from the 133 medications and technologies that we approved, you find those who are life-saving, who are adding to quality of life, who add to well-being, prevent disease. Nobody ever categorized this specific procedure as life-saving.
Okay, important clarifications there, Professor Halevy. And Elisha, I would like to turn back to you. This is only part of a lengthy process, right?
Sure. First of all, there's a lot of misinformation in the media about these therapies. First of all, people are talking about surgery. There is voice surgery. It's been funded for years in Israel. This is actually cheaper. So adding this to the health basket is actually saving money. People are all upset thinking that if we allow trans people to have voice therapy, then we won't be able to help people with cancer. This is untrue because, first of all, it's much, 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 much cheaper, and it doesn't come one against the other. I have to say that allowing trans people to undergo voice therapy prevents mental health problems that afterwards the mental health system has to deal with, which are more expensive and can be totally avoided. So there's a lot of misinformation going on. Also, the general public seems to think that you talked about a long procedure, that only bottom surgery or gender reassignment surgery for the genitalia is the important thing. And everything else is like cosmetic. But in reality, it's exactly the opposite. Our day-to-day life has little to do with our genitalia, but it rather has if we present as men or women. Things like voice therapy and even hair removal may seem cosmetic, but these are the things that contribute most to effective integration into society, allowing us to get a job without discrimination, keep it without harassment. Now, providing public funding will allow trans women in poverty to get access to voice therapy and retain a job and not rely on social security pensions, sex work, or the welfare system. So everyone that's complaining about, the trans community, it's become such a big issue, and it's really a very small issue.
And here perhaps we can use the term life-saving